Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about fixing your weak points in your squat. A couple of things that are incredibly useful when it comes to improving your squat over the long term is optimizing your recovery, which I have a link to that video in the description below, and fixing your weak points in the squat. And that is assuming that you have good technique that you hammer time in and time out in the gym. I also have a playlist below that will walk you through the mobility needs and technique of the squat. That being said, let's just jump right in. The first variation you could use is the tempo squat. The tempo squat is great for learning how to groove the movement, meaning basically you're practicing a really solid movement pattern time in and time out. This is also a great movement if you really struggle with an erratic bar path. So if you recorded yourself from the side, which I heavily encourage, and you see your bar path all over the place, slowly descending into the bottom of the squat can basically help you increase that time under tension in a good strong position so you're controlling that squat from top to bottom. There's no right or wrong way to necessarily do this. I prefer to do 3 seconds on the way down, a 1 second pause at the bottom, and then be explosive pushing back to the top of the squat. Variation number 2 is pause squats. So this is descending at an almost normal pace to the bottom of the squat, stopping completely at the bottom of a squat and pressing back to the top. This variation is excellent for bringing up your weakness out of the hole, so basically getting stronger at the bottom of the squat. This can help build consistency with repetitions, and again, it's one of my favorite to maintain tightness out of the bottom of the squat, because a lot of people who hit the bottom of the squat sometimes dump forward, or that's where they have a little bit of inconsistency with the reps in the squat. You could also substitute this for a pin squat, where you come down to the bottom of the squat and you set your pins high enough to where you set the bar all the way onto the pins, and then you have to press back to the top of the movement. I personally prefer the pause squat, but again, these are just all options that you could implement at your discretion. Variation number 3 is knee banded squats. What you're doing in this variation is placing a mini band or just above your knees, above or below, and that's going to basically force you to shove your knees out so that way your knees don't collapse and pull together. This just reinforces good patterning with the knees, and it could be a really great reminder to establish that tripod foot and keep that tripod foot on the floor so you don't have a collapsing arch. This will also help with building some strength in the hips while you squat. So if you are somebody who has excessive knee valgus or knee cave in the squat, this can actually help that problem as well. The next variation is safety squat bar squats. What this does is it shifts more weight into your quads, the muscles on the tops of your thighs. So it can help build some additional strength in your quads, but it also punishes bad movement, meaning if you get to the bottom, that bar kind of wants to yank you forward in a squat. So if you're fighting against that, it's going to actually help strengthen your mid-back. Another part of this variation that I love is the fact that it keeps your shoulder in a neutral position. So if somebody struggles with shoulder mobility and they're just trying to get back into squatting, or they would need to squat pain-free and still get in good training volume, a safety bar squat is a wonderful option. The next variation is a front squat. So that's when you're in a front rack position. This movement does a great job again at strengthening that mid-back because it punishes that forward movement or that rounding in your mid-back in your squat. The next variation is a belt squat or a leg press. This isn't quite as popular, and it does get some hate because it isn't a squat, especially the leg press. However, these are great variations for people who are struggling to have their spine recover between sessions, but they still can take additional volume in their legs when training. So you can build some leg strength, some hypertrophy in the lower body without putting stressors on your spine. It also removes some of those variables from when you're squatting. So if you are fatigued from lots and lots of volume, a leg press does take that out of the equation. Same with a belted squat. So I do enjoy both of those depending on the person I'm working with. The last variation I think is worth mentioning is slant board squats. Slant board squats can be really useful if you're trying to basically learn the cue of knees forward in the squat. So if you have a tough time letting your knees accept the pressure of the squat on your back, doing slant board squats forces you to do more knee flexion in the squat and puts more pressure through your knee. That effectively forces you to start trusting your knees a little bit more, but it's also a great exercise for knee rehab. So even doing slant board negatives is great for somebody who's trying to recover from some kind of knee pain. Those are the squat variations I want to talk to you today about. Jump into training. Let me know what your favorite squat variation is below, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe. You know what to do. Smash it. Smash it! Come on!